What's good, guys? It's Charlie ND here. I hope you're having a wonderful day. Now, originally, I was going to make another expansion concept video, but I'm putting that on hold because something crazy happened and I just had to tell a story about it. Now, like my last story, this video does contain some pretty serious topics, so if you can't handle that, click off the video now. So, if you've checked my community tab in the past couple of days, you may have noticed that I left a link to a music video that my friend made and that I helped direct. And if you want to watch it, I'll leave a link in the description. So, anyways, this story takes place on the day we made that music video. I hopped on the bus and I went to meet my friend, and we got to filming. And I'm going to be referring to this friend as Greywolf since that's his music name. We came up with that name together, by the way. So yeah, we had a fun time filming this music video, and when we were done, I suggested that I could come to Greywolf's place so I could help him edit it. And he liked that idea, so that's what we did. We hopped in his car and we drove over to his place. Nothing like cruising on the highway on a beautiful day. So we pull up to my friend's place, and he lives at an apartment complex, a relatively new apartment complex. It doesn't even show up on Google Satellite View yet, but despite being pretty new, it did have its problems, mainly drug use, and that sort of thing. And there were also a lot of shady characters in the area, so it's not entirely a surprise that we encountered a guy like the one I'm about to tell you about. So anyways, before we go to Grey Wolf's apartment, he puts his laundry in the communal washer they have on his floor, and then we headed to his place. I said hi to his mom, and then we went into his bedroom and began editing this video. Now, despite the editing experience I have for editing videos on this channel, the editing process on this music video was a bit longer and more tedious than I anticipated it was going to be. It also happened that this was the first time I was editing a video where there was lip syncing. So anyways, we're like a couple hours into editing this video. It was pretty much almost dark at this point, and my friend says that he needs to run down the hall to get his laundry and transfer it to the dryer. So I was like, alright, bet. So he went down to the laundry room and I stayed put in his bedroom continuing to work on this video. And like less than a minute later, he comes like running back into his room and he's like, dude. And I'm like, what's going on? And he tells me that there is some guy in an apartment down the hall yelling at his girlfriend. I'm like, what the hell? So naturally, I sprung up and we both went down the hall to investigate because, obviously if there's a domestic dispute going on, it could get bad. So we arrive at this apartment, and sure enough, there is lots of yelling going on from inside. And even though I was outside, I could just tell that this was not a good situation and there was some serious tension in this apartment. And he is just yelling at her, and I decided to pull out my phone and start recording because, this could potentially serve as important evidence. So, anyways, I'm recording, and this guy is yelling at his girlfriend, and the girlfriend calls him a dumbass, and that really set him off. And he just goes berserk and starts hitting her repeatedly. And I can hear the girl crying, "Don't put your hands on me," and all that. As I'm recording, I look back at my friend, and his mouth is just gaping open, and I just look at him with the same expression because we are in absolute disbelief at what this guy's doing to his girlfriend. So, after a solid 50 seconds or so of recording, my friend decides that we should probably retreat because if he comes out of his apartment and sees us, then that's not going to be a good scene. So I stopped recording and I book it back to my friend's apartment. We shut the door. Grey Wolf whips out his phone and dials 911. So we're just frantically explaining to this 911 operator what's going on. And she explains that there's a team of officers on their way to our location and that we just have to go down to the lobby and let them in. So we stayed on the phone with her and we made our way down to the lobby. And credit to the police, they are quick. They do not waste time when it comes to this sort of thing. Before we knew it, there was an unmarked SUV pulling up on the street outside,
and like a group of guys in like green gear like get out, and we let them inside, and we told them what apartment to go to, and they headed up. Now, we were just chilling outside, literally chilling cuz like it was cold out there, and there was a lady having a cigarette, and she was overhearing our conversation, and we ended up explaining to her what was going on, and she said, "Yeah, that's so messed up." Greywolf and I move into the inside part of the lobby, and we're just talking about this entire situation and how messed up it is. And also, we were talking about what would have happened if one of them came out of the apartment and saw us. Because, like, the guy was yelling at the girl to get out just shortly before we retreated back to Greywolf's apartment, and I definitely would not have liked to have a confrontation with that guy, which made me feel even worse for the girl who he was hitting. So after about 10 minutes, the officers come back downstairs, and I was expecting to see the guy in handcuffs, but instead it was one of the guys in the tactical gear along with a normal police officer escorting the girlfriend out. And you know, she was crying, she was obviously in a great deal of distress, and I can only imagine that she was glad to be out of there, but I don't really know. So one of the guys in tactical gear came and talked to us because we were the ones who dialed 911 after all, and Greywolf asked him what was going to happen, and he told us that the boyfriend was being allowed to stay at his apartment while the girlfriend was getting to stay the night at the police station. Well, actually, I don't know if it was the police station or some other facility, but the point is that she was going to stay somewhere else for the night. And ultimately, what happened between those two in the future was going to be up to their cooperation. So I guess that's basically their way of saying that they can't explicitly say what's going on, but I can only imagine that there's going to be a court date between those two in the near future. And that's where that story ends. Now, you're probably wondering, Charlie, do you still have the footage of him yelling at his girlfriend and hitting her? Yes, I do still have the footage. Am I gonna share it in this video? Hell no. You gotta understand that the contents of that video are very sensitive, and I'd have to be next level clout hungry and senseless to post that publicly. The only reason I recorded that at all was as evidence for the police, and I really doubt that either of the people in that video would appreciate me just putting them on blast for the entire internet to see. I mean, yeah, you could argue that the boyfriend kinda deserves it, but I really doubt that the girlfriend would want something so traumatic posted online. Besides, I doubt many of you would be able to even handle the footage if you saw it, because it is seriously bad. So anyways, the moral of this story is, if you ever hear domestic violence, call the police immediately. Like, that is serious, and you need to not be a bystander. Those situations rarely get better on their own, and if you ever hear something like that going on, you need to call the police because you could seriously be helping someone out a lot. I usually have a snitches get stitches policy, but even for me, this is an exception. I'm glad that Greywolf and I called the police immediately, and I hope that you do the same thing if you're ever in the same situation. And I know that you will. I know my viewers are good people. And so with that being said, thank you all very much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye, guys.